What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles is here, and we're back with a new year, new everything. So, happy New Year to all those, and hope you guys had a safe one. I know it's been a while since I've made videos consistently. It's just been rough with school and work and everything like that. So I really have time, like I rarely have free time to really upload a video, let alone like edit and all that stuff. But we just want to start off the new year again. My friend Nathaniel, he sent me his Sane Trunks deck, and he wanted me to kind of see my thoughts on it and see if there's anything I can do to kind of fix it up. So, without further ado, we're gonna be talking about Nathaniel's Sane Rampaging Utility Beats deck. So I call it that because it's not so much all aggressive like Beats. It has that aspect, but at the same time, you have some control aspect with the utility of having intimidations and stuff like that to control the board, the DB4 to DB2s and stuff. So we're just gonna get into the deck. I know for me, I'm not particularly fond of Sane and this Mastery. I like the other one better, especially in a control variant because you're passing a lot sometimes, and just with that, you're gaining passive anger to advance to the levels that you need to get to. I know with this Mastery, again, you get to stay at a certain level because you may raise your anger, but at the same time, it takes, I feel, a while to really get to that because the attacks have to hit. So this Mastery is more prone to time. It's a warrior's tool, so if someone uses time and you don't have this fear, all your attacks are not going to give you anger if you want to level. As with the other mastery, you're going to gain those the anger no matter what. But we'll get into the deck. So he's using the new stack of trunks 1 through 4 all the way through. And for those who don't know, it's level 1's a physical attack, +1 stage. If it's stopped, your opponent skips his next action. Level 2, if you didn't perform an attack from your hand, this combat is a physical attack for 8 stages, pretty beefy. It's level 3, is amazing, the best level, obviously the level that you want to stay at. I don't know why usually in most MPs in this game, the level 3s are usually like the better levels to stay at. Like 18, Trunks, Old Trunks 3, Goku 3. I don't know why the level 3 seems just to be that level that you just want to stay at. Vegeta 3, Turles 3. It just goes on and on. But his power is you can place a card from your hand, put it at the top or bottom of your life deck, and choose an attack card, add it to your hand, and your opponent skips his next action. This combat. It's level 4. With it's just all your attacks do +5 stages. So again, he's using a Rampage and Mastery where you need one less anger to level, and all your style attacks gain hit. You may raise your anger 1 level, and the power where you discard a styled card with Endurance, and it becomes a non-style physical attack, dealing 1 plus X stages of damage, and X is the amount of endurance on the card. So it allows you to play blocks and not be punished for it. So we're gonna go through his deck, starting from beginning to end with the physical combat cards. So for physical attacks, he's running 1 Wall Breaker, 2 Pulverize, 3 Trunk Sword Slash, 1 Acute Rapid Slam, 1 Sane Surprise, 1 Sane Face Stomp, 1 Sane Elbow Drop, 2 Sane Fierce Kick, 2 Sane Uppercuts, 2 Sane Smacks, 3 Upward Kick, 3 Gut Kick, 3 Left Kick, 3 Spin Kick, all the kicks, um, and 3 Direct Strike. For physical blocks, he's running 3 Sane Evasion, 3 Sane Arm Catch, and for energies, he's running 2 Prep Ball, and for energy blocks, he's running 2 Supreme Block. For events, he's running 1 Time, 1 Enhanced Reflexes, 1 Sane Prelude, 1 Sane Power Up, 1 Sane Strength Test, 1 Sane Rescue, 1 Sane Drive-By, and 1 Sane Interruption. Oh, and 2 Sane Outrage. For setups, he's running 1 VTP, 1 Tree of Might, 1 Sane Intimidation, 2 Sane Enrage, 1 Sane Peace. For drills, just Combination Drill, and for Dragon Balls, Dragon Ball 2 and 4. So, first thing I saw with the deck was it seemed kind of out of place. A lot of random one-ofs, and usually good cards like Sane Elbow Drop to be a one-of, kind of had my head scratching a bit just because with this mastery you want to try and level, and if it hits, it's pretty much a gain 2 anger card. Again, like the 1 random Sane Surprise and the Face Stomp and the Rapid Slam, just again all seem out of place. Same thing with the Sane Prelude. I don't know how effective it was, and just 2 Outrage. Again, a lot of my tweaks are built on personal preference, but with the trunk sword slash doesn't give you anger, and the pulverize, I felt that's kind of redundant. Um, Again, with pulverize you're choosing two, and sword slash you're choosing six. So I wouldn't really do three of one and two of the other. I would probably, you know, if he still wants to play sword slash, probably play like cut it down to a two of, and replace that other sword slash with maybe an elbow drop or something. Since they both cost one stage, at least elbow drop stays on the tail to be used again to give you anger. So with that, fierce kick, I'm not too fond of either. Again, the situational hit effects with Saiyan has always been something that's just been bothering me with the style. Just all conditional stuff, whereas most styles, you just do it regardless. Um, so I'm not really too amped about that. The outrage again, two. It's an omni block. I would definitely play three, especially that you can max out on the prep balls, um, things like that. So what I do like about it is the left kick and the spin kick, which seem to be pretty much I think standard, especially with this mastery. To gain two anger is pretty huge. Um, the wall breaker is nice, as a one of. It might bump it up to two depending on how much you think anger is problematic for you, but you have the pulverize to search it out kind of thing. So it can it can work its way to maybe a two of. And the uppercut, I'm not too sure of. Again, it's that whole like higher power stage thing. Um, Again, he's not running Sane Drive By. Sorry, Sane Discovery. So the uppercut's not really going to get his full value if he's at a lower power stage than his opponent, which can happen. What I found is most physical decks, their weakness tends to be other physical decks because you know it's more so you you know if you get hit, you got to think, well, all these stages are being lost, and at the same time, you might not have the block. So I always found that like physical decks, their weakness is other physical decks for some reason. So, if he has a block for it, which he has packing like six physical stops, which is pretty good, it shouldn't be an issue. But that's one thing to keep in mind. So I have my revision of the deck that I kind of tweaked up and what I felt was a little more consistent. And again, this is some of it's like personal preference. Uh, it's not like this is like my build's better kind of thing, but just some things that I saw with his build. Again, like the random one-offs here and there with the surprise, a cute rapid slam to one elbow drop and stuff like that. Upward kick, I felt doesn't really do much in this game. If your opponent levels up, they still go to full. It's only maybe for cards like if you're running like battle pausing in conjunction with upward kick, or something like that, which is a cool combo, I guess. But other than that, I don't see it really doing that much. So I revised it and I kind of fixed it up a bit. And again, we're still sticking with the same trunk stack. I might actually, depending, stick with like switching out the level 2 trunks to the one that banishes just for that control aspect, since with this deck you're for the most part leveling up pretty you hopefully want to level up pretty quickly. So if you're ever stuck on 2, it's always good to definitely have that physical for 8. Sometimes though it's just like when I felt like do the jump from 1 to 2, you can't, his power is pretty much blank until like next combat, and if you're already gaining anger you're pretty much skipping to 3 anyway. I like 2 for the utility, just to banish and mess up your opponent's hand. That allows your attacks to guarantee that they hit, I feel. You see their hand, you mess it up, and it allows you to just go in and make sure that all your attacks actually do hit. So that's something to really consider. Maybe trying out the different trunks level 2, just to mess up your opponent's hand and make sure that all your sane attacks go through. So what I'm running is still the one wall breaker just in case. The 2 pulverize, another good again utility card. Toolbox or whatever you need for the moment. 2 sane surprise, 2 sane body blow, 3 elbow drop, 3 sane sword strike, 3 sane left kick, 3 sane spin kick. For physical blocks, just a 3 arm catch. And for energies, 2 Sane Domination, 3 Prep Ball, 3 Pinpoint Blast. For energy defense, 3 Energy Deflection. For events, 1 Time, 3 Confrontation, 2 Enhanced Reflexes. 1 Sane Discovery, 1 Sane Strength Test, 1 Sane Rescue, 1 Drive-By, 2 Sane Scouting, 3 Sane Outrage. For setups, 2 Vision to Pass, 1 Tree of Might, 2 Sane Intimidation, 3 Sane Enrage, 1 Sane Peace. For drills, just combination drill. For the Dragon Balls, Dragon Ball 2 and 4. So again, even with this build that I have, it can be tweaked. But again, we bumped the elbow drop to 3 because again, it's a potentially gain 2 anger card. Again, you want beats. It's 2 attacks in 1. You can't really ask for more unless you want endurance, and that's I guess getting kind of greedy. So we bumped up the elbow drop to 3. We added the body blow because the one Tree of Might seemed kind of random. At least with body blow, you can search it out. You can search out the strength test, the rescue, instead of relying to draw it. It adds another engine. Again, if you have rescue, you can and attached, and you have Tree of Might in the discard pile, you can rejuvenate with rescue and then search out with body blow. So it adds that whole recycling utility factor. Again, just having the one random Tree of Might with no way to really search it and just to rely on drawing it seems kind of risky and pretty inconsistent. Um, as you see, we took out the Sane Smacks. It's not like I didn't like Sane Smack. Again, it's good again with the hit effect, but again, if it doesn't hit, um, it again doesn't really do much. I went instead of the Sane Smack with another Sane Surprise because it's nice if your opponent has like a full field of allies and they all lose 2 stages and then lose 4, or something like that. That's crazy stuff. But at the same time, I felt if ever got to that point, for me to use Saint Surprise can just get rid of the allies in the first place. I don't have to worry about it. Um, it's cool that they can lose the stages, but I just rather them just be gone permanently. Well, I wouldn't say permanently, but just to be gone for the time being. I don't want the allies to linger around, and the whole hit effect on Saint Smack. Um, just decided, I'll just rather go for a second surprise and just with Saint Discovery, if it's attached, it's always going to get that effect. So I rather just probably maybe bump it up to 3, but again, you have the spin kick, so that's why I felt like 2 is like a good spot for it. So that way, they playing tag team, you have a smack in your hand as opposed to a surprise, they're just losing stages, but then they can gradually gain it back every turn. With surprise, it's not dealing critical damage, so you still get rid of the ally. You're not banishing the ally, so they can't rejuve it. So it's just a good counter to the blue tag team mastery, Ginyu, anything. So I rather surprise over Saiyan Smack. Saiyan Sword Strike, very good card if your opponent passes, and that's why I really like it with Trunks level 2 with the old Trunks, because you can give them a dead hand and they are forced to pass because it's like you gave me a really crappy hand. So Sword Strike gains a lot of value in tandem with old Trunks level 2 and old Trunks level 4. You decide to switch it up. So I really like Sword Strike. 3 of if they pass and you have multiples in hand. Sword Strike, they can't prevent it, they can't stop it. It's just all around good. We still have the left kicks and the spin kicks again for the 2 anger plus the endurance, so that always comes in handy. I added domination because the deck doesn't have spheres, which is fine, but domination can help, I guess, replace. I wouldn't say replacement because I think spheres are still better because it can be used on the defense and offense. Where domination, you have to kind of lead in with it. But at least with domination, if you lead in with domination, you can hopefully shut down their hand with time, confront, stare down, hybrid defense, and all that good stuff. So I might bump it up to a 3, just testing out 2, because 2 is always like a good number for I feel this card game. 3 is if you really want to see it, but 2 is not bad. I might again bump it up to 3. I boost up Prep Ball to 3 because again you have a lot of events, that are very viable. I really feel like with the Prep Ball, you can get the outrages if they ever overturn, Discovery and all this stuff. What's really cool is with the Mastery, you can use, like, for example, Saiyan Scouting. You can use its you can discard it for the mastery, dealing with 5 stages, and then you can prep all back to Saiyan Scouting and then use the Saiyan Scouting. So things like that are really really cool and pretty disgusting. So I'm thinking about actually bumping up Scouting to 3 again. 2 is just that safe spot because 1, you're probably not going to see it that much. 2 is, you're going to see it. 3, you're going to see it a lot. So I felt like, again, 2 is a sweet spot for Scouting. I might again bump it up to 3 depending how good and effective it is. Well, again, I also added Sane Pinpoint Blast. Again, you want to have ways to deal with things on the field. One of the cards that use a critical damage effect, no hit attached to it. You can just get what you need right away, instant value the moment you play it. So I felt my opponent has Dragon Ball 6 out, I can just take it. My opponent has an ally, I can get rid of it. Anger, all that stuff. So I felt, plus the endurance is always good. So I definitely want to go with 3 Pinpoint Blasts for that control aspect as well. We added Conference again. You want to see your opponent's hand, really kind of cripple their hand to make sure that your Satan's attacks hit so you can gain that anger. So again, we added the Conference just to really mess up your opponent's hand and really let your plays kind of go through. We bumped Enhanced Reflexes to 2. What I essentially did was I took out the Sane Evasions and I added in essentially another Enhanced Reflexes and another Sane Outrage. That way, either or, depending on the situation, you have the block for it. And he was only playing 2, I think, Sane Supreme block. We took out the Supreme blocks for the Energy Deflection, for the Endurance, and the Anger on the defense. So, we pretty much bumped up. And again, I kind of just switched around his defensive line. Instead of having 6 physical blocks, we took out 1 for an Omni block and another one for an Omni block, so it can be either or. So if you have that, if he had Sane Evasion in his hand and someone threw an energy at him, at least one of those evasions would have been an Enhanced Reflexes or another Outrage to block it. So we also run Sane Discovery. I put it in because I like it. Again, Sane has a problem with setups. Not so much drills, I feel. I mean, maybe to some extent, but drills, depending on the deck, go away if your opponent levels. But at least with Discovery, I think for me, setups are more of a problem. Like Black Power Up. Just, I don't know, Black Power is one of them, but there's a couple other setups that can be problematic for saying like Radar, Dragon Clan, stuff like that. So Discovery helps me get rid of it. I might bump it up to 2. See how it works, but it helps trigger all the effects when your power stage is higher, kind of thing. Again, Sane Strength Test we keep in there because for Namekian, help banish, rescue. Drive-by, I might take out. I feel like it doesn't do much with this kind of mastery because since you only need 4 anger to advance level, the most value you can get out of it is if you go to 3 anger, and it's like by that time it's like, whatever. I might take that out for another Sane Scouting or maybe another attack. It just really didn't do much every time I drew it. I love Saiyan Scouting, again, to be able to reuse time, to be able to use things like that is very important. I feel Scouting definitely has a lot of value if used as the last action in the combat. Sometimes it's risky because you don't know if your opponent has another attack to throw at you, hence why I really like the level 2 Trunks. If you get there, you can see like, oh, I know they don't really have much attacks or they don't have any attacks. You can Scouting and get full value of the Scouting without having to worry about, putting 2 cards on top and then your opponent like uses like an energy attack or something like that to make it go away. So sometimes, you just use time and then Scouting, put time on top again and just kind of keep going from there. So it's definitely a card I can see playing 3. I might take out the drive-by for it. And essentially what I did was I took out the Saiyan Direct Strikes, which also had 4 endurance, and just replaced them with Scouting for the utility factor. We bumped up VTP to 2. Again, utility, get what you want from the discard pile, all that good stuff. So I figured 1 is not really good enough. 2 is definitely a good, obviously the limit on it, but I would definitely just play 2. We also bumped up Sane Intimidation to 2. Again, Sane Intimidation allows you to clear certain threats off the board, so that way they're not really a problem. Again, the 1-for-1 is really good. Get rid of an ally, set up a drill is always amazing. I wish we had Sane Cliff Slam in this game, but hopefully next set or something like that. But intimidation, I'm not sure if I would put it at a 3 of just yet. Essentially, what I'm doing is, between Dragon Ball 4 and Saiyan Discovery, we kind of have that aspect without having to so much have dead hands on the defense. At least with Discovery, I can still play it instead of it being a third intimidation. So that's what we essentially did. Pretty much cut out the third intimidation for the Discovery. Uh, we bumped up Saiyan Enraged to 3 up definitely. I mean, you only need 4 anger to level. This card gives you 2, 50% right there, plus the rejuvenation, and you draw a card. No questions about it. We're playing 3. Saiyan Piece, another card, again to control. Between the Wall Breaker, we could probably substitute the Saiyan Piece for a Wall Breaker, essentially, because you don't want your opponent to level, and that's something that if you know you guys see in this deck don't really like Sane Piece, I would probably opt it out for another Wall Breaker. I feel that's a really good exchange. Again, you're replacing the leveling with the no anger gain, and still would keep the combination drill just to blow up the board. Searchable by Tree of Might, and the Dragon Balls 2 and 4. I'm not particularly a fan of having Dragon Balls in a deck if I can't really search them. I might try out Radar, and you could also run Heroic Plan to get some kind of you can get some of the stuff in here going, to get enraged, intimidation, things like that. It all depends on your preference. Against a utility deck, it's not for me so much where I just want to kind of beat face, but you gradually do it over the course of the combat. Um, Eventually, like when you get to level 3, reusing like sword strikes and things like that can really hurt and cripple your opponent. So if I don't make any changes, again, I would just take out the Saiyan Piece for another Wall Breaker to have more attacks, take out the Drive-By for another Saiyan Scouting, and maybe try and add in a Radar. I think Heroic Plan might be a little bit too much in terms of making the deck a little bit slow, but this deck can really push when it needs to, at the same time have the tools it needs to kind of deal with certain issues. So that's why we have the Intimidation to 2 to deal with setups and drills more, and allies, of course. And that's why we bumped up the Surprise to 2 and took out the Saiyan Smacks, because we want guaranteed stuff, not situational hit. If you notice, a lot of the cards on here all do something regardless if they're blocked or not. So that was a very big thing for me. I just wanted to make sure that no matter if you're playing it, you always can get something out of it. If you play Domination, if you're higher, you're going to shut off events no matter what kind of thing. Prep ball, you're always going to get that event to your hand. Same thing with Pinpoint Blast, always getting the crit, things like that. So that's pretty much it for the deck. With the MP stack, I'll still keep the Trunks level 1. Might try out the old Trunks level 2. Obviously keep the new Trunks level 3. And as for 4, I mean, it's a game ender towards late game because pretty much they have to block it. If you have Tree of Might, all your stuff's doing +7. So, and again, if you have Elbow Drop, it's another card that stays on the table. So to do 2 attacks with that is pretty devastating. So you can go either or on the Trunks level 4, but since this is like more of a controlled utility deck, I'll probably just make up for the, I guess, lack of aggression with the Trunks level 4 to really push the 5 stages, making sure that they have to almost block every single attack. And it's cool because then if you have a dead card in your hand, you can pitch for the Mastery if it has Endurance, and then tack on an extra 5 stages of damage onto it. So again, this is my revised Saiyan Rampaging Trunks Utility Beats deck. So thanks again, Nathaniel, for your submission. And sorry it took a little while to get to you, but hope you enjoy it. And if there's anyone out there who has any decks that want to be tweaked, just send it over to me, and I'll make sure to fix it up for you guys. So until next time, Z Warriors, again, I'll try and make sure to have some more content up. And again, I'm starting a new series called Dragon Countdown, where I'm doing top lists, like top 10 lists of certain cards. So maybe the top 10 Saiyan Style cards, top 10 Namekian event cards, things like that. So the first one's going to be coming up soon, probably later on today. So for you guys to check it out, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Mr. Waffles out.